The headset cracked alive with static. "Welcome to Burger Station. How can I help you?" The teenager whispered into the mic, his voice trembling. No response came, only a low hum, like breath against his ear. He leaned toward the drive-thru monitor, peering into the screen that showed the car outside. A black sedan sat perfectly still, its engine silent. Its headlights were off, and its driver's seat was empty. But the order board flickered. A voice, dry, hoarse, like it hadn't spoken in years, slid through the headset. "Two number 7s, extra ketchup." The boy froze, his heart slamming in his chest. There was no driver, no one in the car at all. Just an empty seat, an empty wheel, and a voice that should not exist. The soda machine behind him hissed violently, spraying foam onto the floor. He jerked back, the cup slipping from his hand. The voice spoke again, sharper this time. "Don't forget the fries." The boy ripped off the headset and stared at the monitor. The car was gone. The screen showed nothing but the wet pavement and flickering lights, but the fries were still dropping into the fryer. No one ever wanted the closing shift. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Grease clung to the air, thick and suffocating. The lobby was empty, the booths wiped clean, and the drive-thru window reflected only pale, tired faces. Most nights, it was just Eli, a 17-year-old high school junior, stuck mopping the sticky tiles and praying no one pulled up to the speaker after 11 p.m. He wasn't afraid of hard work. He was afraid of the stillness, afraid of the way shadows seemed to pool in the corners after the restaurant closed, afraid of the silence that felt heavier than sound. Eli wasn't alone tonight. Carla, a single mom who had worked the fryers for over a decade, leaned against the counter scrolling through her cracked phone. And Trevor, the manager, hunched over paperwork in his glass office, pretending not to notice the clock. They all wanted the same thing: to survive the night, get their paycheck, and go home. But the headsets were already alive with whispers. Eli had only taken the job because he needed money for his mom's medical bills. She was too sick to work, and his father had vanished years ago, swallowed by debts and silence. He carried the weight of responsibility on his thin shoulders. Every mop stroke, every shift behind the counter, every tray he wiped down. He wasn't doing it for himself. He was doing it for her. But there was more. The restaurant itself had a reputation. High school kids whispered that Burger Station was cursed. They said a worker once vanished mid-shift, leaving only his headset behind, still crackling with phantom orders. Some swore the walk-in freezer was haunted, that if you stayed inside too long, you could hear someone breathing over your shoulder. Eli didn't believe the rumors, or maybe he tried not to, but the truth pressed against him in small ways. The cold drafts that brushed his neck when no one opened the door. The way the fry timer beeped at random hours, as though someone invisible had pressed the button. He told himself it was just exhaustion, just work stress, just life. But deep down, he knew he was being watched. At 11:43 p.m., the first order came through. The speaker screeched with static, followed by a faint, drawn-out whisper. Eli leaned forward, pressing the headset closer. "Hello? Can I..." Take your order? Silence. Then, slowly, words formed. Large soda. The voice was brittle, papery, like it was spoken through dust. Carla frowned. Another prank. Kids messing around. But when Eli glanced at the monitor, his stomach twisted. There was a car at the drive-thru window, a sedan. Its headlights were off, its windows fogged. But no one was inside. Trevor! Eli called, panic cutting into his throat. The manager stomped out of his office, irritation burning in his eyes. He looked at the monitor, then at Eli. You're imagining things, Trevor snapped. People prank the drive-thru all the time. Just take the order, give them something, and move on. But there's no one, and Trevor cut him off. Do your job, Eli. The words sank into him like ice. Do your job. Ignore the impossible. Pretend everything is fine. The fryer beeped again. Phrase hissed in hot oil, and the voice on the headset whispered, almost laughing now. Don't forget the fries. The orders didn't stop. At midnight, the voices multiplied, sometimes high-pitched, sometimes guttural, sometimes speaking too fast to understand. Double burger, no cheese. 2 apple pies. Large vanilla shake. But the cars outside were always empty. Trevor insisted it was a glitch. Carla crossed herself and muttered prayers under her breath. But Eli stayed rooted in place, headset clamped against his ear, listening. He had to know. The voices weren't just ordering food. They began saying his name. Eli. Eli. Help us. Join us. The walk-in freezer door swung open on its own, the metal groaning. The soda machine sprayed sugar foam onto the counter. The fryer baskets rose without being touched, grease dripping like blood. Eli's chest tightened, but he didn't run. He kept listening. He had to. He was terrified, yes, but also curious. Something about the voices pulled at him, as if they knew his secrets, as if they knew his desperation, as if they could give him answers no one else could. At 12:37 a.m., everything stopped. The buzzing lights, the fryer hiss, the whispers. The restaurant fell into perfect silence. Eli stood in the middle of it all, headset still pressed against his ear. Then he heard it, clearer than before. Eli, you don't run from us. That makes you different. He swallowed hard, his whole body trembling. What do you want? He whispered. The monitor flickered. For the first time, a figure appeared, not in the car, but in the reflection of the order board. A pale silhouette, head tilted, eyes black voids. It smiled. We don't want food. We want to be remembered. Eli's fear shifted, no longer a scream clawing to escape his throat, but a strange, eerie calm. He was no longer prey. The voices were talking to him, not tormenting, but choosing him. The freezer slammed shut. The fryer went dark. The soda machine fizzled into silence. Carla screamed and fled out the back door. Trevor locked himself in his office, pounding at the phone that no longer had a dial tone. But Eli didn't move. He walked to the drive-thru window, headset still clamped to his ear. He opened the glass. Cold night air rushed in, sharp and metallic, tasting like iron. The parking lot was empty. The black sedan was gone. But the voices surrounded him, louder than ever, filling every corner of the night. They did not demand. They did not threaten. They waited. And Eli spoke. "Your order is ready." The fryer roared back to life. The soda machine hissed, and the paper bags on the counter folded themselves shut. Invisible hands carried them into the night, vanishing one by one. The restaurant was alive, serving something far beyond food, and Eli was its voice. By morning, Carla quit. Trevor never spoke of that night again, but Eli stayed. Night after night, he put on the headset, took the orders no one else could hear, and handed invisible bags to invisible hands. He never saw the faces. He never asked questions. He only listened. Because deep down, he knew the truth. The dead were always hungry, and someone had to feed them. The job was never the same again.